I am glad that nearly all the chief ministers have endorsed the approach paper to the seventh plan. Some people were under the impression that we were actually discussing the plan. Of course, we are not. This discussion is merely about the direction which we want the next plan to have. We pay so much attention to decentralization because you would know what kind of flexibility is needed, what are the difficulties of specific areas even within the states, and to what extent they can or cannot implement any particular program. A point was made here about the urban poor. We have been looking into it. We have programs for slum improvement, but it needs more careful consideration. Our difficulty, as the finance minister pointed out, is lack of finances and not of lack of will or lack of appreciation of the problem. If we spend more on any one scheme, we have to take it away from something else, and that is why we have given first importance to the rural areas, which as a whole are far more backward economically than other areas. If the rural areas are improved, then some of the problems of the urban slums might lessen. People will not be compelled to come to cities and towns. That does not mean that we ignore those who are living in the towns. We must see what we can do for them. The Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has made a point with which I entirely agree. He has mentioned it in connection with rural unemployment. I think that it has a larger connotation also. He has said that rural employment can be tackled on a long term basis through the organized creation of appropriate skills in the villages. I think this is a very important point. Today, everybody asks for some big project. Consequently, agitations are built upon these demands. As you know, I am not against big projects. We have many of them and we shall no doubt have many more. We have medium sized projects, we have small scale industry, we have village industry and others. We are neglecting much of the resources which already exist in our rural areas. We must take a major effort to release these hidden talents and to make use of all these resources. These resources do not consist only of mineral resources, but there are all kinds of things which are available and which are in great demand outside. It is not only a question of meeting the local needs. We can use these things even today for export. Even the small things which we can very easily produce can be exported. I think each one of you, if you tackle the problem district wise or even block wise, will find items which can make money for the local people. In this way, you can help the state and the country as a whole. I have said this many times and I want to repeat it here that 92% of the resources that we need come from our own people. It is only the limited 8% that we want from outside. I am sure that even in the mobilization of resources, we can do much more. We can try to make better use of existing capacities, local skills, and local materials. I find that there is a tendency now to go in for the most expensive material for construction. I would like the chief ministers to take personal interest in it where a bridge or huge building is concerned. This may be necessary in many areas for housing and for other smaller structures. There are several local materials available which have stood the test of time. Let us see what can be used locally. But where the local material is wood, we have to be careful. Under this excuse, we do not want the hill states and other states to cut down more of their forestry. We need that wood for other purposes. We are trying to find alternative materials. I have put it to our scientists also. Certainly, we can make paper out of many things besides wood. Then there is recycling of waste products. These are minor points. If you really pay attention, they do not need a lot of time or money. They just need your effort and application. You will be able to save money and serve a large number of people than today. I mentioned family planning in passing because of a particular remark made. I should like to congratulate Tamil Nadu on the work it has done in family planning. We certainly do not think that any state would suffer for doing good work in this very important area. It is true that we must modernize all our forces. We must modernize our industry. We must modernize our agriculture. We must modernize our police. We are very much aware of this, but again, the constraint is largely of finance. As and when we raise finances, we must try to put them in this. The other point is that we are not really using what Gandhiji called the women power of the country. They have a tremendous potential to offer in the service of the country. Some states have made a beginning, but other areas in the country, particularly places like Rajasthan, have a long way to go before they can mobilize women to take an active part in national activities. In this, women's education is of importance. We have to lay stress on these points. You may consider them small, but I consider them big. If we can succeed in these areas, you will find that we shall be in a better position to do the bigger things we want. I have covered many things which do not really come into the purview of the National Development Council, but I think that they are basic to the success of our projects and our planning. I thank you all for the attention you have given. We have been most interested in listening to your ideas. Naturally, without your help and cooperation, neither the plan nor anything else in the country can succeed.